Welcome back to another episode of Heal and Reveal. My name is Kailisha.
And I'm Ryan.
Before we kick off, I just want to say the best thing about getting older is outgrowing and letting things go that no longer serve you.
Understanding that raising your standards isn't judgment, it is self-respect. Honestly, this is one I've had a hard time learning or coming to. And in the last 4 years, really started living by it and really being like, I am not tolerating this behavior or this treatment or how you talk to me or how you treat me, or not even just from in a relational standpoint, but even from friends or from family. A lot of boundaries have had to be put into place. A lot of people fall away when you do that. But for me, I'm like, that's okay, because it just means you're not meant to be where I'm going.
I feel like there's two different sides of women when it comes to being 30 plus. There's the women that constantly cater to everyone's needs because they feel that they need that validation of feeling needed and wanted, right?
Yep, that was me.
And then there's people like myself where we're like, no. I learned how to do
all
this.
the time.
No. I grew up really fast, right? So I was doing things in my early 20s in situations and in environments where I had to set those standards. I knew that if I didn't speak up and say no when I had to say no, people were definitely going to take advantage. There's two things. So in my head, sometimes there will be a situation and I'm like, oh, I knew I should have reacted like this.
Always. It always comes after the situation. Always.
And then I'm also a very confrontational person, which I've learned this over the years, but it's to the point now where my husband and my mother-in-law will phone me and be like, yeah, I phone customer service and they won't help me. Can you deal with this? Yes, absolutely, I will. But I've honestly learned over the years when not to be confrontational because it can really bite you in the ass.
Yeah. But I think for me, it was more of, when you're missing emotional aspects that maybe you didn't grow up with, or mental instability, or always growing up feeling like you need to prove yourself within attachments, or you're not good enough, or you need to bring something in order to be seen or heard or loved or liked or whatever the case may be. You move and you become in that performative sense of self. And then it's hard to remove yourself out of that if you've been in it for so long. And the thing about that though is you attract those kind of relationships with people around you.
Definitely.
And environments, and then it's like a cycle that just keeps looping and keeps continuing, and getting out of that cycle was really hard, and I only got out of that cycle 4 years ago. So for me, it was a big upheaval and internal shift of relearning myself and my boundaries and truly what I am willing to tolerate for myself and my peace. And that's where the main thing is. One of the biggest things was learning to differentiate sacred discomfort, which is growing, versus draining discomfort, which is misalignment and people pleasing, because there's going to be discomfort when you're growing, obviously, right? You can't stay comfortable and grow, but it's learning, if I'm saying no, is it helping me grow? Or am I saying yes because it's helping me grow? Or am I saying yes, but it's just to appease you and make you happy, even though I don't really want it and it serves me no purpose? My marriage really did a number on me, emotionally, spiritually, mentally,
physically,
it took a toll on me, and I became a shell of who I was before that. And it was a very long decade in that relationship. Leaving that, I had to relearn who I was, and it was almost mentally, spiritually, I reverted back to my early 20s to when I first met him, and had to grow up in a short period of time to bring myself to where I was, because I was so stifled in that relationship and not allowed to grow necessarily. Not that I wasn't allowed, but it was frowned upon, let's say. And that was the beginning of my 30s, the very beginning. I'm 34, turning 35 now. The 30s is your decade of alignment. So 20s was you proving yourself, proving your worth, or proving that you can build a future, you're doing all the things. Whereas 30s is now I'm anchoring into who I am. I'm no longer trying to figure out who I am. I'm anchoring into me. I'm more secure in me. I have less patience for bullshit now. And I look back, I'm not trying to make myself be something I'm not.
Yeah.
Now I'm learning to be comfortable just in my skin. I'm not trying to keep up with the Joneses. I'm not trying to perform for anybody.
But that's life. That's figuring it out in your 30s. That's what we're supposed to do.
do?
Another thing I no longer tolerate in my 30s is not pouring back into myself and taking care of my self-care, which we just talked about.
Well, it's a form of magnetism, and it's a form of like, you feel good, you look good. I'm more confident with myself because I know I've put effort into myself. I've poured that back into my own cup by putting time and effort into making sure that I feel great, I'm looking great.
The rule of thumb is as long as you have 2 of these 3 things done, you look put together. Like you can either have your hair done, your makeup, or your dress presentably.
So what does self-betrayal look like in subtle forms? If someone asks me to do something and I don't really want to do it, but I feel like that good friend or that good person or whatever, I feel like I have to say yes to it or agree to it, even if I'm like, I just overwhelmed, I'm drained. And for me, saying yes to those things is a subtle form of self-betrayal because I'm going against what my spirit and my body is telling you that like, no, you can't take this on regardless of how much you love this person or you want to help them right now. And so that is something recently, as much as I've wanted to say yes to certain things, I've had to be like, no, I'm sorry. I just need to take this day as a me time. I need to like recalibrate and pour back into my own cup because I know I'm at the bottom. But self-betrayal could be easily, you know, not standing up for yourself in certain situations and then feeling guilty about it. Or there's certain times where I feel like I should be doing something for my kids or being with my kids. And I don't because I need to work or something. And I'm like, well, this is to me a form of self-betrayal because I'm like, I should be putting this energy into my kids or into my family. But instead, I need to make sure I'm working to make more money, to pay things or to do things, right? And wearing those multiple hats. And I feel like when you wear multiple hats and you're trying to balance so much, especially as a single parent, I feel a lot of self-betrayal in different areas because I feel like I'm dropping the ball in this area, I'm dropping the ball in this area. If I pick up this side, then this side falls. Like it can't always be balanced. So there's always some form of self-betrayal one way or another because I can't carry it all. And this year I learned that because I stacked a lot of stuff on my plate over the last year. Like a lot of stuff on my plate.
But you were trying to stay busy going through a transition period, I think.
Maybe, but I learned that I stacked too much on my plate this last year. I had like 4 or 5 things that I was trying to juggle. And you know what I learned over that year? The things that I put the most energy into and the most effort into are the things that ended up meaning the most to me at that time and the things that I needed the most, and the rest kind of like got pushed to the wayside a little bit. But I learned that there needs to be balance and I can't do it all on my own at the same time. You gotta pick and choose your priorities.
I learned how to stop being mean to myself and self-sabotaging myself. So even like with my channel, I would hear people make comments like, oh, look at your little channel, things like that, right? And I would psych myself out and I'm like, why am I doing this? No one's looking at my videos. My follower count's not where I feel like it should have been after this long. And I was like, yeah, I get so much joy out of creating content and editing and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I'm not gonna self-sabotage myself because I know growth is uncomfortable. And I seen this podcast the other day where somebody, I can't remember which podcast it was, but she was talking about how long it takes to build a business. And she's like, people get so frustrated when they don't see growth after like 3 or 4 years. She's like, it took me 10 years to build my business. And she's like, just be patient, because if you're patient, she's like, honestly, she's like, the rewards have been like beyond imaginable. It was my passion. And she's like, I never made anyone make me feel like, oh, this is less than, or I don't deserve this.
Enjoy the journey to where you're going. And that comes back to being present, because these are the moments that you're gonna look back on and you're gonna be like, wow, I really struggled there, or I was at rock bottom there, or like, oh, that was a really cool moment in that journey process. And that when you're at the other end of it, you can look back and be like, you know what? It was tough. I wasn't where I needed to be. I stayed present in that moment within the journey. And now I can see all of that hard work as like an amazing accumulation of like my success. It's kind of like your own little personal trophy. Like, hey, like I like can look back at that.
Okay, so that's all we have for today. Let us know down below things you're no longer tolerating in your 30s, and we will see you guys back next
or
week.
That you're gonna let go of because you're entering your 30s. Just saying.
Clock it.
Next we're gonna say 40s because, you know, we getting up there. Shut up! Older sister abuse over here, okay.
Okay, we'll see you guys next
Love
time.
you.
Bye.